There's a language being spoken all around you, every single day, that has absolutely no words. Every little glance, every pause, every shift in someone's posture, it's all telling a story. And today, we're going to dive deep into the science of that silent language. I mean, just think about it for a second. What if you could actually read minds? Imagine walking into any room, a meeting, a date, a family gathering, and just knowing who's telling the truth, who's feeling a little insecure, or who's just putting on a brave face. It sounds like a superpower, right? Okay, so you can't actually read minds. Let's get that out of the way. But what we're about to cover, it is without a doubt the next best thing. And this isn't about some kind of magic trick or psychic ability. Nope, this is science. It's about learning to decode what people are really communicating by watching what they do, not just what they say. And here's why this is so incredibly important. Get this. Research shows that over 60% of all our communication is non-verbal. 60%. Way before we had complex language, we communicated with our bodies. And believe me, those ancient, hardwired cues are still running the show today. That's right. Before a single word even leaves someone's mouth, their body has already started broadcasting a ton of information. This is the unspoken language, and the very first key to understanding it is learning to notice the things that happen in the blink of an eye. Which brings us to this really cool concept, the microexpression. It's this tiny, lightning-fast flash of pure, unfiltered emotion that just leaks out onto someone's face. It totally bypasses our conscious control, so someone might be smiling and telling you everything's fine, but for a split second, you see the corners of their mouth turn down. That reveals the sadness they're trying to hide. These little moments, they are the gold mines of reading people. All right, so how do we actually start spotting these signals? Well, we can break it all down into three main channels: what we see on the face, what the body is doing, and what the voice sounds like. Let's start building our toolkit, beginning with the cues that are understood all over the world. The foundation for all of this comes from the incredible work of psychologist Dr. Paul Ekman. He's the guy who discovered that there are 7 universal emotions that are just hardwired into every single human being. A real, genuine smile, for instance, it's not just the mouth. You've got to look for the crinkling at the corners of the eyes, the crow's feet. And contempt, which is such a critical signal to spot in a negotiation, often shows up as just a tiny, one-sided smirk. Now, moving beyond the face, our entire body is like a billboard for our state of mind. Confidence and insecurity, for example, are screaming at you through posture. Confident people, they tend to take up space. They stand tall, their shoulders are back, their gestures are open. But when someone feels insecure, they do the exact opposite. They unconsciously try to make themselves smaller, hunching their shoulders or folding their hands. But here's a fantastic, kinda weird detail. The single most honest part of the human body is often the feet. And why is that? Well, because we're so busy trying to control our facial expressions and what we're doing with our hands, we completely forget about our feet. And our feet have this funny habit of pointing where our mind wants to go. So if someone is talking to you, but their feet are aimed right at the door, chances are they're ready to leave. And finally, you have to listen to the voice, not just the words. This is called paralanguage. It's the emotional color that gives our words meaning. A person's vocal pitch often gets higher when they're stressed because their vocal cords literally tighten up. And a sudden pause or hesitation right after you ask a direct question, that can be a huge red flag. It might just be their brain scrambling to cook up a lie. So now we have all these individual signals: an eye twitch, a pointed foot, a weird pause. But here is the most important rule of the entire game. A single gesture, all by itself, is basically meaningless. You have to look for the patterns. And that always starts with establishing a baseline. A baseline is just how a person acts when they're calm, relaxed, and not under any pressure. Are they naturally a fidgety person? Do they normally have trouble making eye contact? Once you know what their normal is, then any sudden change, like a super calm person who suddenly starts blinking like crazy, that signals that something important has shifted inside their head. Always, always remember this. No gesture should ever be interpreted in isolation. Think about it. Someone crosses their arms. Does that automatically mean they're being defensive or closed off? Well, maybe, or maybe the room is just cold. But if they cross their arms, and they lean away from you, and they start avoiding eye contact, okay, now you have a cluster of behaviors all pointing in the same direction. So we can put all of this together into a really simple 3-step method you can start using today. Step 1. Observe someone's baseline behavior. Just watch how they are when things are normal. Step 2, watch for any deviations from that baseline. And step 3, the most important one, always consider the context. This is how you turn just looking at people into a real systematic skill. But here's where we're going to shift our perspective a little bit. Because this skill, it's not just about analyzing people or trying to catch them in a lie. When you use it with empathy, it becomes an incredibly powerful tool for building real, deep human connection. The real goal here isn't to be some kind of detective putting everyone under a microscope. It's to be a connector. It's about using your observation to understand what someone else is feeling, especially when they can't or won't say it out loud. It's really just empathy, but sharpened by awareness. And that kind of understanding, it builds incredible trust. When you make people feel seen but not judged, they feel safe enough to open up. When you can match their emotional energy, they feel like you're in sync. And when you remember the small details about them, it shows them that they really matter to you. You're actually listening. It's all about creating a space for real honesty. So we'll end with this. The science of reading people gives you this remarkable new lens to see the world through. But the real power isn't in what you see, it's in how you choose to respond to it. Are you going to use it to judge someone or to connect with them, to win an argument or to build a bridge? That's the question that truly matters.